Tonight on the news, State Governor's wife advocates stronger collaboration to improve care and inclusion for children with autism and special needs during free medical outreach in Ethiopia East and West. Delta Broadcasting Service Asaba tasked staff on continuous learning and professionalism at capacity building workshop to enhance efficiency and service delivery. National Youth Service Corps reaffirms commitment to youth empowerment, entrepreneurship, and national development through strengthened skills acquisition programs. And abroad, United States and Saudi Arabia move closer to a landmark civilian nuclear agreement amid growing global non-proliferation concerns. Good evening and welcome to Delta Television Main News tonight. I am Pauline Okoli. You can also follow our news online on Facebook and YouTube at Delta Broadcasting Service Asaba or visit our website at www.dbsasaba.com. The wife of the state governor and founder of the Umatu Charity Foundation, Deaconess Tobore Obrewori, has called for stronger collaboration among government, healthcare professionals, and development partners to improve the welfare and inclusion of children living with autism and other special needs. She made a call during the second round of the Foundation's free medical outreach for children with autism and other special needs in Ethiopia East and West Federal Constituency held at Baptist Secondary School, Eku. Florence Oyibodoro reports.
Deaconess Obrewori said the foundation's intervention was driven by the belief that every child deserved dignity, care, and equal opportunities, regardless of disability or social status. She noted that the outreach provided free medical consultations, health education, medication, wheelchair walking aids, educational devices, and other assistive materials to improve the well-being of beneficiaries.
One important lesson we have learned is that a one-time intervention is not enough. The needs of children living with autism and other special needs are continuous. This is why I wish to appeal for stronger collaboration with government agencies, development partners, corporate organizations, religious institutions, community leaders, and well-meaning individuals. Together, we can do much more than any one organization can achieve alone.
Director General of the Umatu Charity Foundation, Mrs. Loretta Ogbedo, reaffirmed the foundation's commitment to improving the well-being of children with special needs through sustained interventions in health care, education, and social support.
We understand that raising a child with special needs can be very challenging. If you have one, you will know how challenging it is. Many parents and caregivers go through emotional, physical, and financial stress every day. That is why the foundation, Umatu Charity Foundation, is committed to standing with you.
Chairman of the Ethiopia East Local Government, Honorable Augustine Ogedegbe, said the foundation's interventions complemented the more agenda of the state governor.
Well, and put smiles on the faces of these disabilities persons. And at any time, she has created a record, and whatever she is doing today will remain.
Executive Chairman of the State Universal Basic Education Board, Honorable Samuel Marere, praised Deaconess Obrewori's commitment to the welfare of vulnerable children, pledging the board's continued partnership with the Umatu Charity Foundation. Health professionals advised parents and caregivers to seek early medical attention for children with autism and other developmental disorders, saying early diagnosis, consistent therapy, and family support could significantly improve the quality of life of children with special needs. The outreach featured free medical checks and the presentation of wheelchairs, educational assistive devices, and other support materials to beneficiaries. Florence Oyibodoro reporting.
A one-day capacity building workshop for senior staff of Delta Broadcasting Service (DBS) Asaba has held with a call on the workers to embrace continuous learning and professionalism to improve service delivery and strengthen the nation's position as a leading public broadcaster. The general manager of DBS, Mrs. Christine Jobome Imetulu, made the call during a one-day capacity building workshop for staff on salary grade levels 12 to 17 held at the station's boardroom. Henry Unogwa reports. We'll bring you the reports in the course of this bulletin. State government has commended the remarkable growth and infrastructure development recorded at Southern Delta University, Ozoro, under the leadership of the Vice Chancellor, Professor Sani Awifada. The commendations was given during a working visit to the institution by the Commissioner for Higher Education, Professor Nyiro Tonukari. Professor Tonukari expressed satisfaction with the progress made by the university in academic development, infrastructure expansion, and institutional administration. He noted that the achievements reflected the commitment of the university's management to providing quality education and creating an environment conducive to learning and research. The commissioner also disclosed that the process of implementing an improved salary structure for academic staff in Delta State-owned tertiary institutions was nearing completion. According to him, the proposal currently awaited the final approval of Governor Sheriff Oborevwori before implementation. He reaffirmed the state government's commitment to strengthening higher education through sustained investment in infrastructure, staff welfare, and academic excellence. He added that administration remained focused on creating a more competitive and efficient tertiary education system capable of meeting global standards. Professor Tonukari urged members of staff and other stakeholders to continue supporting the university's leadership in its efforts to sustain the current pace of development. He expressed confidence that with continued collaboration between the government and the institution, Southern Delta University would further consolidate its position as a center of academic excellence in Nigeria. A federal high court sitting in Warri has convicted and sentenced 12 persons for abusing the Naira. The convictions followed their prosecution by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, for spraying and mutilating Naira notes during a social event. The EFCC told the court that the offenses contravened provisions of the Central Bank of Nigeria Act, which prohibits abuse, defacement, and mutilation of the nation's currency. The commission said the prosecution formed part of its ongoing campaign to protect the integrity of the Naira. The trial court found the defendants guilty after they pleaded guilty to the charges brought against them. The court subsequently imposed various penalties in accordance with the provisions of the law. Reacting to the judgment, the EFCC described the Naira as a national symbol that must be treated with dignity and respect. He warned that anyone found engaging in acts that abuse the currency would face persecution, regardless of status or social standing. The commissioner also urged Nigerians to desist from spraying, stepping on, or mutilating Naira notes during ceremonies and celebrations. He called on the public to support efforts aimed at preserving the value and integrity of the country's legal tender. The State Police Command has impounded 21 vehicles during an intelligence-led enforcement operation carried out in Abraka and Ozoro. The exercise formed part of efforts to strengthen public safety and curb criminal activities across affected communities. According to the command, the operation targeted vehicles suspected to be violating traffic regulations or being used to facilitate criminal activities. It noted that the exercise was conducted based on credible intelligence and in line with existing laws. The police said investigations were ongoing to determine the ownership and status of the impounded vehicles. They added that any vehicle found not to be connected with criminal activities will be released after due verification and compliance with legal procedures. The command reaffirmed its commitment to protecting lives and property through proactive policing, intelligence gathering, and regular enforcement operations. It stressed that security agencies would continue to monitor flashpoints across the state to prevent crime. The police therefore urged motorists to obey traffic regulations, ensure that their vehicle documents were up to date, and cooperate with security personnel. Residents were also encouraged to provide timely and credible information that would assist security agencies in maintaining law and order. The National Youth Service Corps (NYSC) has reaffirmed its commitment to promoting national development through youth empowerment and skills acquisition. The scheme says it remained focused on preparing corps members to contribute meaningfully to the country's socio-economic growth. Director General of the NYSC, Brigadier General Olakunle Nafiu, stated this while addressing stakeholders. He said the scheme continues to equip corps members with practical and entrepreneurial skills that will enable them to become self-reliant and create employment opportunities after their service year. He explained that the NYSC Skill Acquisition and Entrepreneurship Development Program has been strengthened to improve participants' access to vocational training, business development support, and other opportunities that enhance employability and productivity. Brigadier General Nafiu also noted that beyond skills development, the scheme remained committed to fostering national unity by promoting cultural integration, tolerance, and peaceful coexistence among young Nigerians serving in different parts of the country. The Director General reaffirmed the NYSC's resolve to align its programs with the federal government's youth development agenda, stressing that the scheme will continue to empower corps members with the knowledge and capacity needed to drive national development and economic transformation. The National Office for Technology Acquisition and Promotion, NOTAP, has intensified efforts to promote the commercialization of research findings in order to accelerate Nigeria's industrial and technological development. The agency said greater emphasis was being placed on transforming innovative ideas into products and services that can benefit the economy. NOTAP said it was working closely with universities, research institutions, and innovation centers to bridge the gap between academic research and industry. According to the agency, many valuable research outcomes have remained underutilized because they have not been developed into commercially viable products. The agency explained that encouraging researchers to develop market-ready technologies would stimulate industrial growth, enhance local manufacturing, to reduce the country's dependence on imported technologies. It added that innovation remained a critical driver of sustainable economic development. NOTAP stated that the commercialization of research has the potential to create employment opportunities, attract investment, and improve the competitiveness of Nigerian products in both domestic and international markets. It urged stakeholders to strengthen collaboration in promoting innovation and technology transfer. The agency reaffirmed its commitment to supporting policies and programs that encourage research, innovation, and technology development. It expressed confidence that sustained collaboration among government, academia, and the private sector would foster economic growth and position Nigeria as a leading hub for technological advancement in Africa. The House of Representatives has called for a comprehensive investigation into the losses, casualties, and properties abandoned by Nigerians following recent xenophobic attacks in South Africa. The lawmaker has also urged the federal government to strengthen diplomatic engagement, legal action, and bilateral cooperation with South Africa to ensure the safety and protection of Nigerians living in the country. The resolution followed the adoption of a motion sponsored by the member representing Ikorodu Federal Constituency, Honorable Babajimi Benson. The House mandated its committees on diaspora and Foreign Affairs to document the human and economic losses suffered by Nigerians, compile an inventory of abandoned properties, and recommend measures to improve the protection of Nigerians in South Africa. Meanwhile, the House called for a comprehensive audit of all seized, forfeited, and recovered assets since May 29, 1999. Lawmakers also received the Constitution Review Committee's report and the proposed establishment of state police as part of ongoing constitutional reforms aimed at strengthening security. In addition, the House queried the failure of some government officials to honor summons issued by its ad hoc committee investigating the Presidential Foreign Investment Promotion Council. The Nigerian Navy has handed over 2 rescued victims of suspected human trafficking to the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP. The victims were rescued during an anti-human trafficking operation carried out by the Navy's forward operating base in Badagry, Lagos State. The Navy said the rescue followed credible intelligence that led personnel to intercept the suspected trafficking operation before the victims could be transported to their intended destination. It affirmed its commitment to supporting efforts aimed at combating human trafficking and other transnational crimes. Receiving the victims, NAPTIP commended the Nigerian Navy for its prompt intervention and continued collaboration in the fight against human trafficking. The agency described interagency cooperation as critical to dismantling trafficking networks and protecting vulnerable persons. NAPTIP disclosed that the rescued victims would undergo medical evaluation, counseling, and rehabilitation as part of efforts to help them recover from the trauma of trafficking. It added that investigations were ongoing to identify, arrest, and prosecute all those involved in the criminal network. The agency urged members of the public to remain vigilant and report suspected cases of human trafficking to security agencies. It reiterated its commitment to protecting victims, prosecuting offenders, and intensifying public awareness campaigns to curb the menace across the country. The federal government has stressed the need for the African Union Peace and Security Council to intensify its efforts against illicit financial flows, describing them as a major source of funding for terrorism and violent extremism across Africa. Minister of Foreign Affairs Ambassador Bianca Odumegwu Ojukwu stated this during the 1354th meeting of the African Union Peace and Security Council. She said terrorist groups depended on illicit funds to recruit fighters, acquire weapons, and deploy emerging technologies, including drones. The minister called for stronger international cooperation in tracing, recovering, and returning illicit funds to their countries of origin. She reaffirmed Nigeria's commitment to combating terrorism through sustained military operations, intelligence sharing, improved border security, and regional collaboration. Ambassador Odumegwu Ojukwu said, Nigeria has significantly degraded the operational capacity of Boko Haram and Islamic State's West Africa province, ISWAP, while investing in education, youth empowerment, community resilience, and the rehabilitation of repentant ex-combatants. She urged the African Union and its international partners to adopt a zero-tolerance approach to terrorism and strengthen measures to dismantle terrorist financing networks. You're watching Delta Television main news at 8, still to come. United States and Saudi Arabia move closer to a landmark civilian nuclear agreement amid growing global non-proliferation concerns. Please stay with us. We'll be back.
As a host community, try as much as possible to guide your utterances. No company can be intimidated. The companies are also urged to keep to their social responsibility, the corporate social responsibility. I always say it, keep to it. If you keep to the corporate social responsibility, no host community will hold you ransom.
Yeah, Mr. Magrida. You're welcome back. We'll now bring down that story on DBS capacity building. Staff of Delta Broadcasting Service DBS Asaba have been urged to embrace continuous learning and professionalism to improve service delivery and strengthen the station's position as a leading public broadcaster. The general manager of DBS, Mrs. Christine Jobome Emetulu, made the call during a one-day capacity building workshop for staff on salary grade levels 12 to 17 held at the station's boardroom. Henry Unogwa reports.
Mrs. Jobome Emetulu said the workshop was designed to sharpen the skills of staff, renew commitment and reposition all for greater productivity, adding that the increasing demand for credible and timely information made continuous training necessary. She pointed out that the ever-increasing competition in the media industry demanded greater competence from staff of the state-owned outfit to enable them add value to their jobs and remain relevant in an ever-changing environment.
Excellence is a result of continuous learning, discipline, teamwork, innovation, integrity, and very importantly, commitment. I therefore encourage each participant to take full advantage of this workshop, listen attentively to our facilitators, ask questions, share ideas, and very importantly, not only put into practice the knowledge you get here today, but also share it with other staff in our respective departments.
A member of the DBS Asaba Board of Directors and retired permanent secretary in the Ministry of Information, Chief Paul Osaho, who also represented the board chairman, Honorable Austin Chikezie, drilled the staff in the basic of classification and numbering of files, while Tracy Okonkwo from the banking industry explained wealth management and smart investment strategies towards achieving long-term financial security.
Record the date it leaves his office to the next officer concerned, and then page. The essence of the page is to draw the attention of the person that will act on it.
Securities covers both STIs, LTIs, and even your stock trading. This year, stock trading did so well. Then we have what we call trust, whether blind trust or education trust. Then we also have what we call wealth management. So I'll just bring them down little by little, but with very short time.
A retired director from the State Pensions Bureau, Mr. Victor Suya, delivered in his presentation on building effective leadership and interpersonal skills towards enhanced productivity, emphasized that leadership was not limited to those in management positions, but also the responsibility of all staff, requiring integrity, accountability, effective communication, and the ability to inspire others.
Offenses, they need investigation, and they come up with decision and take of punishment to do. But absent from duty, they deal with that punishment according to the Public Service Rule and Civil Service Commission regulation.
Mr. Suya stressed the importance of strong interpersonal skills in fostering teamwork, resolving conflicts, and improving workplace relationships, adding that continuous learning, adaptability, and professionalism were essential for enhancing productivity and improving service delivery. Henry Onogwa reporting.
And from the foreign scene, the United States and Saudi Arabia are expected to announce a landmark agreement that would allow the Gulf Kingdom to develop a civilian nuclear program. The proposed deal, expected to be unveiled by U.S. President Donald Trump's administration, could worth billions of dollars over the next 30 years. It would enable United States companies to build and operate nuclear facilities in Saudi Arabia, subject to consultation with the U.S. Congress. Under the agreement, Saudi Arabia could be permitted to enrich uranium on its own soil following a joint study with the United States. While enriched uranium would be used to fuel nuclear power plants, the process can also produce material that could be used in nuclear weapons. If the United States rejected local enrichment after the study, Saudi Arabia would be prohibited from pursuing it independently or with any other foreign partner for 10 years. The proposal has raised concerns among nuclear experts, Israeli officials, and non-proliferation advocates who fear it could eventually pave the way for Saudi Arabia to develop nuclear weapons. The development came amid heightened tensions over Iran's nuclear program. Unlike previous United States initiatives, the proposed agreement is not linked to Saudi Arabia formally recognizing Israel. The deal will now be submitted to the U.S. Congress, where it will face scrutiny despite Republicans holding majorities in both chambers. Away from the foreign scene, President Bola Tinubu has congratulated the United Kingdom's new Prime Minister Andy Burnham on his assumption of office and reaffirmed the country's commitment to strengthening bilateral relations with Britain. In a statement issued by the Minister of Foreign Affairs, President Tinubu described the United Kingdom's peaceful and orderly leadership transition as a reflection of its strong democratic institutions and constitutional tradition. The president said he looked forward to working closely with Prime Minister Burnham to deepen cooperation in trade, investment, security, and other areas of mutual interest. He also expressed readiness to engage with the British leader both bilaterally and through the Commonwealth to further strengthen the strategic partnership between Nigeria and the United Kingdom. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Andy Burnham has announced a reduction in value-added tax on consumer electricity bills to ease the cost of living burden on households. They also pledged to reindustrialize the economy, decentralize power, and tackle homelessness. The British leader has held separate telephone conversations with United States President Donald Trump and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, reaffirming Britain's commitment to defense, security, and continued support for Ukraine. He also received congratulations from French President Emmanuel Macron following his inauguration. The Central Bank of Nigeria has retained the monetary policy rate MPR at 26.5% for the second consecutive meeting. The decision was announced at the end of the Monetary Policy Committee meeting, where members reviewed developments in the country's economy and the global financial environment. The committee said the decision followed a careful assessment of key economic indicators, including inflation, exchange rate stability, and overall economic performance. It explained that maintaining the current rate would allow existing monetary measures to continue supporting economic stability. The Apex Bank noted that inflation remained a major challenge despite earlier policy interventions. According to the committee, retaining the benchmark interest rate will help moderate inflationary pressures while giving previous policy decisions more time to achieve the desired impact. The committee also cited growing uncertainties in the global economy, especially renewed tensions in the Middle East, as one of the reasons for maintaining the current rate. The one that such developments could affect global oil prices, financial markets, and other economic activities with implications for Nigeria. The central bank reaffirmed its commitment to maintaining price stability, preserving investor confidence, and strengthening the country's macroeconomic outlook. It said it would continue to monitor both domestic and international economic developments and take appropriate measures to support sustainable economic growth. Nigerian businesses have been advised to upgrade their accounting and invoicing systems ahead of the country's transition to digital tax administration system. Tax experts said the introduction of electronic invoicing has been designed to improve tax compliance, enhance transparency, and make tax administration more efficient. They urged businesses to adopt digital process, upgrade their accounting software, and train their personnel to avoid compliance challenges when the new system becomes fully operational. Stakeholders believe the initiative will strengthen revenue generation, simplify tax collection, and promote a more transparent and efficient business environment across the country. A thought for the day. Success does not come from what you do occasionally. It comes from what you do consistently. We'll take a look at our highlights before we go. The wife of the state governor and founder of Humanity Charity Foundation, Deaconess Tobore Obrewori, has called for stronger collaboration among government, healthcare professionals, and development partners to improve the welfare and inclusion of children living with autism and other special needs. She made the call during the second round of the foundation's free medical outreach for children with autism and other special needs in Ethiopia East and West Federal Constituency held at Baptist Secondary School, Eku. Delta Broadcasting Service, DBS Asaba, has held with a call to embrace continuous learning and professionalism to improve service delivery and strengthen the station's position as a leading public broadcaster. The general manager of the station, Mrs. Christine Jobome Mitsulo, made the call in her remarks at the workshop aimed at improving the skills of senior staff of the establishment. And the National Youth Service Corps, NYSC, has reaffirmed its commitment to promoting national development through youth empowerment and skills acquisition. The scheme says it remained focused on preparing corps members to contribute meaningfully to the country's socioeconomic growth. And abroad, United States and Saudi Arabia moved closer to a landmark civilian nuclear agreement amid growing global non-proliferation concerns. And that's our news. You can also follow us online on Facebook and YouTube at Delta Broadcasting Service Asaba, or visit our website at www.dbsasaba.com. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Pauline Okodi. Good night.